Is your tech career hitting a wall? You know, that feeling like you're just stuck in neutral while the entire industry is flooring it into the future? Well, let's dive into this, because if you feel that way, you're definitely not alone. More importantly, there's a way to get back in the fast lane. Today, we're going to break down 5 critical signs that your tech career is going nowhere, and then we'll talk about exactly how to fix it. So let's start with a number that should really get your attention: 36%. As of mid-2025, tech job postings have absolutely plummeted by that much from what they were before the pandemic. And look, this isn't just some random stat. This is a signal of a massive shift in the entire landscape. And that 36% drop is what you're seeing right here. But if you're a software engineer, the news is even tougher. We're talking a nearly 50% drop. So what does this mean? It means the days of just easily hopping from one high-paying job to the next, well, they're over. The game has totally changed, and the competition is, frankly, fiercer than ever.
This quote from our source material really just hits the nail on the head. In this new reality, standing still means you are actively and quickly falling behind. So the most important thing you can do is recognize the warning signs before it's too late. Let's get into the first and maybe the most important red flag.
So let's talk about that first major red flag. It's the one that kind of sneaks up on you. The fact that your core skills might be becoming obsolete. You know, the tech you mastered yesterday could literally be a legacy system tomorrow. I want you to take a second and really honestly answer this question for yourself. If you're coding, designing, or managing projects with the exact same tools you were using 3, 4, 5 years ago, with no major new skills added to the mix, you are officially in the danger zone. And listen, this isn't some small, slow change. The World Economic Forum predicts that by 2027, 44%, that's nearly half of all workers' core skills will be disrupted. This isn't a slow drift, people. It's a seismic shift, and it's happening right now. So how do you fight back? Not with panic, but with a plan. First, you've got to commit. Block out 5 to 10 hours every single week for learning. But don't just learn random stuff. Focus on the high-demand areas. We're talking AI and machine learning, cloud, cybersecurity. You've got amazing platforms like Coursera and Udemy at your fingertips. And finally, give yourself a real concrete goal. Aim for 1 new certification every quarter. This right here is how you future-proof your career. All right, let's move on to the second red flag. This is the one that hits you right in the wallet. That sinking feeling that your salary has completely flatlined while it feels like everyone else is getting raises. There is a massive gap opening up right now. Get this, while average tech salaries grew by a pretty measly 1.2% in 2024, people with AI skills were commanding a 28% salary premium. That's because AI isn't just some niche skill anymore. It is reshaping entire industries, and companies are willing to pay top dollar for anyone who can help lead that change. And you know, it's not just about what you know. It can also be about where you are. While the old school tech hubs are kind of saturated, you've got these emerging centers like Atlanta, Miami, and Philadelphia that are seeing double-digit salary growth. The opportunities are out there if you just know where to look. Okay, so how do you get that paycheck moving up again? Here's your strategy. First, you have to know your worth. Use sites like levels.fyi to see what your skills are actually commanding on the open market. Next, get those certifications we talked about to prove your expertise and justify a raise. Then, overhaul your resume. Focus on what you achieved, not just what you did. Use hard numbers. And finally, and this one is crucial, you have to be ready to walk. The biggest raises, we're talking 10 to 20%, almost always come from switching companies. On to our third red flag. This one's less about your resume or your bank account and more about a feeling deep in your gut. You've hit the career plateau. You are just stuck. Here's a really simple way to diagnose this. Just look at your job title and what you do every day. Have they been pretty much the same for more than 3 years? Is there no obvious next step for you at your current company? If the answer is yes, you're not just waiting for a promotion anymore. You've plateaued. And a huge reason people get stuck like this leads to our fourth sign, professional isolation. So let me just ask you a very direct question. Who is your mentor? If a name doesn't immediately pop into your head, that is a major, major warning sign. It means you're trying to navigate this incredibly tricky career landscape all by yourself with no guide. And when you combine that plateau with the isolation, this is what you get, the Groundhog Day effect. You know that feeling, right? Every day feels exactly the same. The challenges are gone, the excitement has faded, and you're just going through the motions.
This isn't just being bored. This is a career killer. So how do you break free? You have to reignite your career's trajectory. Inside your company, raise your hand for those big, high-visibility projects, the ones that kind of scare you a little. Outside of work, get out there and network. Aim for 2 or 3 industry meetups every quarter. Actively look for a mentor on a platform like ADP List. And finally, build something on the side. A side project is living proof that you're still growing, still learning, and still passionate about what you do. And all of this brings us to our 5th and final red flag, which might be the most subtle one of all: having no concrete plan. If your career strategy is just work hard and hope for the best, you don't have a strategy, you have a wish. And that kind of passivity is a huge sign of a career that's drifting, not driving. So let's fix that right now. Here is your roadmap broken down week by week. Week 1 is all about assessment. Be brutally honest with yourself, analyze your skill gaps, figure out what you're really worth on the market. Week 2 is planning. Get that resume and LinkedIn profile looking sharp, and make sure it's aimed at the job you want, not the job you have. Week 3, you get into action. Schedule at least 5 coffee chats with people in your network. And in week 4, it's all about development. Enroll in that course you've been putting off and start that side project. In just 1 month, you can set a completely new trajectory. I want to leave you with this really powerful thought from our source material. This new, super competitive, fast-moving tech world, it isn't some temporary storm that we can just wait out. It is a permanent climate change for our industry. And the only way to thrive is to become a master of adaptation. So it all comes down to this. The signs are clear. The data is staring us in the face. No one is coming to save your career for you. It is your responsibility. The only question left is the one right there on your screen. What are you going to do about it?